we keep stressing the fact that obviously, you have to compete with discipline, and you have to be disciplined and do things the right way, plus compete hard at the same time. So those are things we're working on, and I think we're getting better.
Good to see you. Can't we all just get along? Like warm weather during August, shoving matches in training camp are the norm. The Warhawks working out in shells bright and early this morning. Practice day turned up a notch. Certainly more than the last 2 days with the shoulder pads on, allowing for a little bit more contact to take place. One note on the defense, senior Trey Hunter split time between the first and second string today. No demotion for the senior, rather defensive coordinator Mike Collins wanted Hunter in the role of coach on the field with the younger guys in the secondary. Good Thursday evening to you. There are only a few games that stick out in the high school docket this week. One of them, West Monroe hosting Ridgeway out of Memphis. This is the second straight year these two are hooking up. The Rebels stormed past Roadrunners 38-13 last season. The Duron-Sutton coach crew are perennial powers in the Volunteer State, and their success continues this season. Their offense in 6 games has been straight fire, averaging 37 points per game. The Bulldogs look to erase bad memories from Murfreesboro after their defense collapsed in a 38-34 loss to Middle Tennessee. Saturday, they returned to the Joe to host UTEP. Skip Holtz and company come to this contest 1-3 for the first time in 2013, finished 4-8 that year. The Miners, who are also 1-3, dropped their last 3 while being outscored 141-28.
We've got 2 approaches here.
The Dogs avoid dropping their 3rd straight, something they hadn't done since Skip Holtz's first year at the helm in 2013. He had help from a usual suspect in Trent Taylor, and even from running back Jared Kraft, who had a season-best 170-yard, 2-touchdown night.
Jared, I said, is a workhorse. He wasn't going to go down easy, and like I said, I thought he had some tough yards to run for with what they were doing up inside. Then we got into the 4th quarter, and the last 2 drives, the running game took the ball right down the field, which was nice to see.
They started playing some man, and we were able to take advantage of it a couple times. I think Ryan and the O-line did a great job of facilitating that and controlling the offense when they switched it up on us. We did our job as an offense when it came to the end of it.
The D played a tad bit better, holding the Miners to 7 points and 138 yards less than they allowed to the Blue Raiders.
We made a couple changes. We had a long talk Sunday after Middle Tennessee, and just went back to square root. Last week we didn't tackle well at all. Today we tackle well, and it's about getting off the field on 3rd down. We didn't on a lot of drives, but we did on some, and we held them 7 points.
Night and day defensively from last week's loss to Middle Tennessee to Saturday night's win versus UTEP, something Coach Holtz hopes will continue on Thursday night versus Western Kentucky. Now, he also noted that the only day of rest this team will get will be on Friday after the game. No time to take off during a short week. With the Bulldogs in Ruston, I'm Chris Demirdjian, KTV, NBC 10 Sports.
W's have been hard to come by for Beekman Charter. That was until September 16th, when the second-year program felt the joy of victory for the first time, defeating Northwood and Lima.
Of course, I've been around some winning programs, and those wins were just great as well. But, to do this and to just see the excitement in the kids' faces and know how hard they've worked to get to this point, it just made it, without a doubt, up at the top.
We thought that we would have pretty much won over the world. To see our fans finally stand up and our cheerleaders get happy, that meant the world to me. I started crying, everybody was wondering. I said, man, being a senior, getting your first win, so it's amazing. It's an amazing feeling.
After a winless season in 2015 where they were shut out 5 times and outscored 421-60, keeping this group of 34 Tigers motivated surprisingly wasn't hard. Coach McDonald credits the kids for not turning their equipment and keeping their eyes on the program's goal.
We stayed on them and put them through the ringer. Had to do a lot of teaching. And, like you said, we told them just be patient, it's going to come. And, I didn't expect it so soon.
When we came out here in spring and I saw what everybody was doing, and I seen that we had potential of winning our first game. We had potential of having a winning season.
And now these guys hope for a repeat performance this week against St. Fred's, a team they lost to 46-0 a year ago.
We lost to Northwood Lena 38-0 last year, and we beat them. So we just got to play hard as we can and stick with them. It's going to be a tough game, but we got to stick with them.
In Beekman, Chris Demirdjian, KTV, NBC 10 Sports. Neville and Ouachita, 2 parish foes who duked it out on the gridiron in a series that dates back to 1949. The numbers have tilted in favor of the crew from Forsyth Avenue since 1982, with the black and gold holding a 20-11 advantage.
They've had our number the past few years, that's for sure. it's not something that we say, oh, we're just going to give in to. We're going to come ready to go to war.
There's always a little bit extra around our camp when we're playing Ouachita. A lot of these guys know each other. There's a lot of pride on the line for this game. There's a lot of crossover between friends, relatives. And social media lights up this week with all kind of mess.
From the start of this decade, the Tigers hold a 5-1 advantage over Ouachita. And in the last 2 seasons, under the leadership of Jeff Fitzgerald, the contest came down to whoever had last possession of the football.
It feels like there's a little more pressure on you, and the kids feel a little bit more pressure on them. Every game is equally as important, and anybody can be beat at any given time. And it's a big game, but every week's a big week.
But it's just a game that we have to be up for. We have to be geeked about and ready to play. We can't come out slow and sluggish.
The rivalry expands way past a 120-yard football field. Students from both sides get just as pumped as their compadres who are playing on Friday night.
We're excited, man. This is one of our biggest rivals, probably like a demolition row. We're hyped, ready to get out there. You know, our student section gonna be live. You know, so we're ready.
I do have confidence. We got a lot of pride in that one. And that was, I think we can do it.
All right, thank you, Trey. Hey, it's a beautiful day here at the Rob. Believe it or not, it's actually 50-50 divided between Alcorn fans and Tiger fans. A lot of guys making the trek over from Mississippi. Listen, the Tigers hope to make it back-to-back home wins for a second year in a row. They did it again last year in 2015. The G-men are off to a hot start offensively, thanks to transfer quarterback Devontae Kincaid. For so far this season, he's thrown for at least 840 yards and 2 touchdowns. Brooke, you know, with any new coaching change, you're going to see players transfer and leave the program. What new additions have you guys brought in so far?
We've brought in a couple of players, transfer from Elon, Nikki McDonald. She'll be a sophomore for us, but will sit out this year. And we signed 3 freshmen, Kiera Lang from Springdale, Arkansas, Darian McCutcheon from the Dallas area, and Ashley Reed from Wichita Falls. So a few new players to the roster. Everybody will kind of get familiar with them as we get started, but they'll add to what we already have, and then we're going to continue to try to piece together a roster for next year and as we build for the future.
All right, Brooke, I appreciate you. Thank you very much. Good luck this season.
Thank you.
At Louisiana Tech. Now, moving on to Grambling. Players and coaches are still plenty of time to show up here at the Civic Center. The Malcolm Butler from Louisiana Tech told me a few moments ago they sold just over 1,000 tickets for this event. There's food, there's drink, and there's Bulldogs faithful. And, of course, later tonight we'll have coverage from ULM, LSU, and Cowboys camp on KTV 10 Sports. Back with more Heather and Jared after the break.
Our Chris Demirdjian joins us live from Starkville, Mississippi with a preview of tomorrow's big game. Chris, what's it looking like?
All right, thanks, Michelle. We're having to move this baby indoors due to rain outside here in the Starkville area. Now, it's been a very, very long time since the last time Louisiana Tech was in a regional, 29 years to be exact. Now, they're facing the Cal State Fullerton squad who's been in for 25 straight years. No matter the opponent, no matter the arena, no matter the atmosphere, these Bulldogs are ready to play some baseball. Now, Friday's opening round action looks a lot like this. Top-seeded Mississippi State will host Southeast Missouri at around 1:30. And in prime time, Louisiana Tech and Cal State Fullerton duking things out at 6:30. Now, before our broadcast at 6 o'clock, Coach Goff came up to me and told me that Phillip Deal will indeed start tomorrow night for the Bulldogs. And Coach Vanderhook, as of a few moments ago, still has yet to announce a starter. But, of course, Fox 14 along KTV 10 will have complete updates and recaps throughout the weekend as long as the Bulldogs are playing baseball here in Starkville. Michelle, in the meantime, back to you in the studio.